another issue we're concerned about, tied to all of this tracking you, finding out where you spend your money, is an issue which I know you are seeing in the news right now and broadcasted on social media, so I wanted to break it down for you. It's the central bank digital currency, because when I saw Governor Noem talking to Tucker Carlson, and we've represented Governor Noem at the ACLJ on life issues in the state of South Dakota, when I saw Governor Noem had to veto a update to the Uniform Code, it's just the UCC, and she had to veto it because there was a sentence in there about establishing a central bank digital currency. So what does that mean? Let me go to Harry Hutchinson. Harry, just to explain to people who might be new to this term, because it's really just been in the last 24, 48 hours, people are talking about it. We've seen it pushed at the international level, but now we're hearing the Federal Reserve chairs talking about it too.
Precisely. So central bank digital currency, this movement, which has been in the works for at least 10, if not 15 years, is designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to deprive citizens of the physical possession of their own money. What does that mean? It means then that the government can track each and every transaction. The government can decide what is best for you, like the Chinese government is currently doing. So the question for the American people is, number one, do you eat too much beef? Do you need to eat more maggots and beetle burgers? The government can, in fact, decide that that is the appropriate course of action. Why? Because the central bank digital currency movement is linked to climate change. It's linked to a digitized passport. It is linked ultimately to ultimate control over each and every transaction that you and I engage in. And the American people need to be educated on this particular proposal, and the American people need to become increasingly suspicious. It is very possible that at some point in time, the national bodies, the international bodies, and national governments will get together and plan a plandemic, if you will, on banks to reduce the reliability and our dependency on banks and force us toward centralized digital currencies. That is a huge, huge problem, and everyone needs to be aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, they could say, are you donating to a certain church? I mean, I tie this right to the matter with the FBI investigating radical traditionalist Catholics, which it sounds crazy even saying, but that's a new acronym they've got floating around the FBI, RTCs, who can be motivated to violent extremism because of their adherence to the faith. That is now a bad thing in our country, to be a person of faith who takes their faith seriously. That used to be something that almost you had. It had to be something you had to have to be a leader in our country. That you would be scrutinized over that. But of course, now it's a bad thing to be someone who takes their faith seriously. But are you donating to a certain church? Are you giving to certain political candidates? And suddenly, is your carbon footprint? Oh, you've used your carbon credit up. So, Andy, we're going to cut your spending off right now. And they would have the ability, so much easier under this digital currency model, to be able to do that than they even do right now under the cash system in banking and the unregulated, for the most part, cryptocurrency market, which, again, is a disruptor, and they hate disruptions.
This central bank digital currency that Harry describes so well is really a danger to the country. It really is, because it tracks how you spend, and it makes a determination of what you're going to spend on and what you're not going to spend on by the federal government, which has no business interfering in our lives as to what we're going to spend our money for. That's our business. And when you tie it in, as they have, to this idea of RTCs, these radical theological concepts that the FBI, and I'm not making that up, it's in this sheet right here that we got from the field office in Richmond, and this was, I didn't make that up. RTC, and it says it scares you, is likely, watch it, to increase over the next 12 to 24 months. So as these radical Catholic theologians and believers increase, so we're going to put into effect central bank digital currencies to make sure that you don't give and donate to those organizations that the government decides are not worthy of your money. You know what I say to the federal government? Stay out of my pocket.
Because when you know they're spying on you at their church and they're using human assets to do it, imagine what they're going to do with technology if you give them the power.